Welcome back to The Lead. Let's turn now to our political panel. Former communications director for Senator Ted Cruz, Amanda Carpenter, joins us here in studio. Democratic strategist Steve McMahon is here as well. And we're also joined by Trump campaign senior advisor Ed Brookover. Thanks one and all for being here. Ed, let me start with you. Mr. Trump said today that he's probably down to about 2 candidates for vice president right now. Do you think his meeting with Governor Pence this morning had any impact one way or the other?
Oh, I'm sure that Mr. Trump is gathering information from many sources, talking to each of his prospective vice presidents personally. It will be key for him because Mr. Trump wants to pick a vice presidential nominee who would join him in his fight to change Washington and to turn America around.
What do you think, if I could just stay with you for 1 second, Ed, what do you think if it's between, as we're told from Trump advisors, Christie, Gingrich, and Pence, what do you think ultimately is the thing that's going to make the decision? Who he thinks will be the best attack dog, who he has the closest relationship with, who will help him govern the best? What do you think is most important?
I think first and foremost is going to be the relationship between the two. Mr. Trump and his businesses has always relied on working closely with his top associates. I then think secondly, it's going to be who he thinks will help him govern best. After all, his motivation for getting in this race was to change the directions and change Washington, D.C. and to make America great again.
Amanda, Governor Pence had this to say about Donald Trump just yesterday.
Donald Trump understands the frustrations and the hopes of the American people, like no other American leader in my lifetime since Ronald Reagan.
Wow. Like no other American leader. Now, I should also point out that in the last few months, Governor Pence, who supported Ted Cruz, your former boss, he called Trump's comments about the Indiana judge, Curiel, who's in California now, Indiana-born Judge Curiel, inappropriate. He said that the proposed Muslim ban was offensive and unconstitutional. Do you think that any of those earlier comments might hurt his chances today?
It might. I think here's the thing about this whole Veepstakes thing that we're witnessing. It seems as though the Trump campaign is really trying to manufacture some chemistry with one of these vice presidential candidates. He's going through, these sort of dates with Mike Pence to go to dinner, go to breakfast. I think Trump is looking for a pop, someone that will cause excitement among conservative activists. None of these Veep candidates are really generating that. And so now Trump still, it's almost as though he's incapable of making a decision at this point. He's dragging it out too long. I think ultimately he'll probably come back to Newt Gingrich because no one else can provide that excitement. Not that Newt provides a lot, but among the people I talk to, that's the person people would be most comfortable with, not Mike Pence, because Mike Pence hasn't shown that he could stand up to Trump on any occasion.
I have to say, I think the one that he has the most chemistry with, and for years and years and years, is Chris Christie.
Sure.
I don't know if he'll pick him, and I also know the conservatives.
But that's not an excitement pick.
And it's also not somebody who will generate excitement among conservatives.
But he has gotten very, very good at holding Mr. Trump's coat and referring to him as Mr. Trump.
And
so that might actually argue pretty well for him.
He's done more than that. But Steve, let's talk about Hillary Clinton. I want to talk to you about her VP search in a second, but let's look at these new battleground state polls that show really not great news for Clinton world. She's lost ground in a couple of key battleground states. Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, voters found Mr. Trump far more honest and trustworthy. This is just the honest and trustworthy numbers. And look at that. He dominates her in this Q poll. It looks as though this FBI investigation, the Benghazi hearings, et cetera, may have actually really had an impact just in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that they had an impact. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you or spin you. On the other hand, these things are sort of elastic, and so sometimes you get pushed down a little bit, and over time you pop back up. You see that pretty consistently. This race structurally is a 6 or 8 point lead for Hillary Clinton pretty consistently, and I think what you're going to see is as the elastic sort of recovers, she's going to end up pretty much where she was, but it is going to be a close race going in the fall. There's no question.
Ed, I want you to take a listen to this from the town hall I hosted with House Speaker Paul Ryan yesterday. The Speaker was asked about his support for Donald Trump from somebody who doesn't support Donald Trump but is a Republican. Take a listen.
Speaker Ryan, I cannot and will not support Donald Trump, and it concerns me when the Republican leadership is supporting somebody who's openly racist.
So yes, things have been said that I too disagree with. Then I'll make that point then, but I'm going to go fight for the principles and the solutions that I believe in, and the candidate that I think is so much more likely to put those into law, because I know Hillary Clinton won't do that. It's a binary choice. It is either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
That's just an excerpt, but the larger point I'm trying to make is at no point did Speaker Ryan say, Donald Trump is not a racist. Does that bother the campaign at all?
Well, we certainly know that Donald Trump is not a racist bone, not a racist cell in his body. I think the larger point that Paul Ryan was making was that Americans who have learned about Donald Trump, who respect his opinions, who respect his positions, are coming together because it is the Trump administration which will enact the kind of changes in America we need, working with somebody like Speaker Ryan.
All right, Ed.